This is video 33, math lesson 5.2, about fractions and mixed numbers. Now, as a reminder, when we talk about a mixed number, we're talking about a number that has both a whole number part and a fraction part. So, for example, if you look at this picture and you're asked to tell how many pizzas, you would say that you have 1, 2, 3 whole pizzas and 1/3 of another pizza. Okay, a whole number and a fraction is called a mixed number, such as 3 and 1/3. Take a look at these pictures and match the mixed numbers with the pizzas. Now, if I'm looking at this, I'm first going to think which ones stand out to me, which ones are obvious. Well, they all have 2 holes. Okay, so that doesn't really help. Here I can clearly see that I have a half, 2 and a half, so I'm going to match that one up here first. Now I'm looking for 3/8, 4/9, 4/5. Okay, which part represents 4 out of what would be 5 total pieces? Yeah, right here. We've got 4 with that 5th chunk missing. So 2 and 4/5 should go here. Now we've got 2 and 3/8 or 2 and 4/9. 2 and 4/9 is just a little bit less than half. And here I have 4 pieces, which is just a little bit less than half. So I can see how it would take 9 pieces to fill it up. So I'm going to put 2 and 4/9 here, and that leaves 2 and 3/8 over here, and that makes sense because I've got 3 pieces. Here would be the 4th, and that's half of it, so it would take 8 to fill up the whole pizza. So if I had to match these up, that's how I'd go about doing this. Now, take a look at this picture. How many thirds do you see? Okay, now we're not going to think about a mixed number with a whole number part and a fraction part. We're being asked how many thirds. Well, it takes 3 thirds to make each whole pizza. So I've got 3/3 plus another 3/3, that's 6/3, plus another 3/3, that's 9/3, plus one more third. So if you thought 10/3, you're absolutely right. This kind of fraction is called an improper fraction. Now there's nothing really improper about it. It just means that it has a numerator that is equal to or larger than its denominator. Take a look at these pictures and match the improper fractions with the pizzas. When I need to do a problem like this, I first take a look at the denominator to see what size pieces am I talking about here. I've got 4ths, halves, 4ths, or 5ths. And then look at the pictures. How are they divided? If I look at this whole pizza here, I can see that it's divided into 4 pieces. That's 4ths. So this is going to be one of my 4ths. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total 4ths there, so this one represents 7/4. If I look at this picture here, my pizza is divided into 5 pieces. That's 5ths. And I have 6/5. So 6/5 goes right here. Here's another one that's divided into 4ths. 4, 8, 12. I've got 12/4, which is actually equal to 3 whole. And this one's divided into halves. Okay, 2 pieces per pizza. 2, 4, 5 halves. And that's how we would match them up if they were improper fractions. Now, sometimes you will need to change numbers, either from an improper fraction into a mixed number, or maybe from a mixed number into an improper fraction. You learned how to do this in 4th grade, but I know from past experience that this is still kind of a tricky thing for 5th graders to do. So we're going to take a look again at how to do this. Now here's a couple of different methods for converting a mixed number into an improper fraction. Okay, here's the first method. Let's say your mixed number is 2 and 5/6, meaning you've got 2 whole and 5/6 of another. If we think about this 2 whole part, we're talking sixths here. Our pieces are in sixths. So I know that 6/6 would be equal to 1. Okay, so if I have 2 here, I know that's 6/6 plus another 6/6. That makes 1, 2. And then I have to also add on the fraction part that I have, 5/6. So if I put that all together, 6/6 plus 6/6 is 12/6 plus 5/6 is 17/6 total. And that's one way we can change from a mixed number to an improper fraction. Okay, just kind of separating it out and adding them together. Another way we can think about that, it's basically the same thing, but because we knew that this was 2 wholes, so in other words 2 6/6, we can just think 2 times 6/6 right off the bat. Instead of writing it out 6/6 plus 6/6, we can just write 2 times 6/6. Now that would be really helpful. Like let's say your whole number is 18. Now are you going to want to write 18 times 6/6 plus 6/6 plus 6/6 plus 6/6 and so on until you do it 18 times? That's kind of a lot to write it out. So instead you could just think 18 times 6/6. That's what we're doing here. So we know we have 2 wholes, so that's 2 times 6/6, which is the same as 12/6. And then we still have to add on that 5/6 that we have, which gives us a total of 17/6. Now on this next page here, I have directions for, move that over a little bit so you can see it. I have directions for changing a mixed number into an improper fraction. I want you to put this part in your notes. So grab your notes book and open to your next clean page, and our topic is fractions. So write fractions at the top. Now I want you to copy these directions down and this example to convert a mixed number into an improper fraction. Step 1, multiply the whole number and the denominator. Step 2, then add the numerator to that answer. Step 3, this total is the numerator of the improper fraction. Step 4, the denominator does not change. Okay, and then put this example in your notes. So if your number is 2 and 5/6, this is the same problem we had on the last page. A third way to think about converting it. All you have to do is take your whole number 2, multiply it by your denominator 6, so 2 times 6, and you get 12. Then add the numerator of your fraction, so 12 plus 5 gives you a total of 17. That 17 becomes the numerator of your improper fraction, and the denominator stays the same. So if it's a 6 here, it stays a 6 here. Make sure you have all of this copied down before you resume the video. Now sometimes you'll be asked to do the opposite. You'll need to convert an improper fraction into a mixed number. And here's one really good way to do this. Step 1, divide. Remember when I told you that every fraction is also a division problem? Well, all you need to do is divide. 19 divided by 5. If you do 19 divided by 5, you're going to get an answer of 3 with a remainder of 4. Step 2, report a remainder, if there is a remainder, report it as a fraction. Now, you also learned how to do that in 4th grade. To report it as a fraction, your remainder becomes your numerator, and your denominator stays the same as your divisor, so it should stay a 5. That's how we can go from 19/5 to 3 4/5. 19 divided by 5 is a whole number 3. Your remainder is 4, so as a fraction, that remainder is 4/5. Make sure you have this also copied into your notes. Now let's do a little practice. You're going to convert these mixed numbers to improper fractions. There's 2 like that. And there's 2 improper fractions for you to convert into mixed numbers. I want you to pause the video, solve these problems, and then push play again, and we'll go over the answer. Okay, when you converted 3 4/5 to an improper fraction, whatever method you used is okay as long as you get the right answer. I like to do 3 times 5 is 15 plus 4 is 19. So I know it's going to be 19 for a numerator. The denominator stays the same, so it should be 19/5. For the second one, 3 2/7, I would do 3 times 7 is 21 plus 2 is 23. So my numerator is 23, my denominator is 7. My answer would be 23/7. Now to convert these improper fractions into mixed numbers, I will divide. 37 divided by 5. Well, I know that 5 goes into 37 7 times, and there'll be a remainder of 2, because 5 times 7 is 35. So it should be a whole number 7, and my remainder 2 I'm going to write as 2/5. So 7 2/5. And the last one, 56 divided by 42. Well, looking at this, I know that 42 will only be able to go into 56 one time. So I'm going to have a whole number of 1, and my remainder will be 14, I think. Yeah. So 14 is my numerator. My denominator stays the same. 1 and 14 over 42. Oh, of course, they had to simplify it for us. And we'll work on simplifying later. Some of you might have thought to simplify that. 14 over 42 is the same equivalent as 1/3, so 1 1/3. But if you got 1 and 14 over 42, you did a great job.